Hi guys, how are you? I'm Theodore, and today I want to talk to you about how learning English changed my life. Learning English was key for me to make new friends and open up more opportunities for myself. At first, I was scared. I didn't know many words, and my accent was very different. But I didn't give up. I learned little by little, like a baby learns to walk. Sometimes you may feel shy to speak, or even afraid of making mistakes. But remember, making mistakes is part of the learning process. If you don't try, you won't get better. Learning English is like learning to swim. It seems scary at first, but once you start, you will feel more confident. The more you practice, the easier it gets. One way to learn is by listening to English. When you listen, you get used to the sound of the words and learn new expressions without even realizing it. It's like listening to your favorite song. You'll pick up the words little by little. Another way to practice is by talking to your friends or even talking to yourself. I talk to myself in English sometimes, and I know it sounds funny, but it helps a lot. You can ask yourself questions and try to answer them. The more you talk, the better you get. And don't worry if you don't know many words. You don't need to use complicated words. Simple words are enough. The important thing is to try to express yourself. People will understand. When I started, I was afraid of people laughing at me, but I learned that if I didn't talk, I wouldn't get better. So I said it anyway. Most people were super kind and helped me. If you get nervous, that's okay. Take a deep breath, smile, and start talking. It will get easier each time. Another way to learn is by reading aloud. When you read, your brain gets used to the words. It's like exercise. The more you practice, the stronger you become. And if you don't know how to say something, don't be ashamed to ask for help. We all need help sometimes. Asking questions is one of the best ways to learn. Believe in yourself. If you think you can't do it, it will actually be more difficult. But if you believe you can do it, you will definitely improve. Learning English is like climbing a mountain. You can't reach the top all at once. You climb step by step. When you least expect it, you'll be up there. Start today. Speak English as much as you can. Don't worry if it's not perfect. The important thing is to talk. Learning English is like planting a tree. You water it every day and it grows little by little. But one day, she will be tall and strong. Remember, the important thing is not how quickly you learn, but the fact that you never give up. Keep trying, and one day you will look back and say, I did it. I remember the first time I spoke English. My heart was racing. I was afraid of making a mistake, but I spoke anyway. And even though I made mistakes, I was proud of having tried. Speaking English is not about being perfect. It's about being brave. Every time you talk, it's getting better. When I started, I watched films in English. I didn't understand almost anything, but I continued watching. I paid attention to the way people spoke and used that to improve. Learning English is a process that requires constant practice, and practice is the key to improving. It may seem difficult at first, but remember, it's like learning a sport. The first time you try, everything is complicated, but over time, things get easier. Don't cover yourself so much. The important thing is to practice a little every day. You don't need to study for hours. 10 or 15 minutes a day can make all the difference. Start by listening to English. It can be music, podcasts, or videos. At first, you may not understand everything, but that doesn't mean you're not learning. Your brain is absorbing the language naturally. When you listen, pay attention to how the words sound and try to repeat them. This will help you get used to the sounds of English. In addition to listening, a good way to practice is by reading. You can start with simpler books, like children's books, or even easier news. As you improve, you can move on to more challenging texts. When you read, try to say the words out loud. This will help both to improve your pronunciation and speaking practice. It's like teaching 2 classes in one. Another tip is to write. Start by writing simple sentences about your day or what you like. Don't worry about mistakes. Over time, your writing will improve. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. This is part of the process. Now, talking about the speaking part, find someone to practice with. If you don't have anyone, talk to yourself. Ask questions and answer in English. This will help you feel more comfortable. And, most importantly, don't worry about speaking perfectly. Every mistake is a learning opportunity. The important thing is to practice every day, even if it's for a short time. If you miss a day, that's okay, but don't stop. Little by little, you will notice your evolution. I practiced every day myself, even on days when I didn't feel like it. Sometimes it was just for a few minutes, but I didn't stop doing it. Over time, I got better. You can also use apps or online tools to practice. There are many free apps that help you learn English. The secret is not to give up and keep practicing, always. If you're looking to learn English more efficiently, some apps can be a great help. There are apps that allow you to chat with people from all over the world. It's an excellent way to practice, learn new words, and get to know other cultures. And if you make a mistake, don't worry. Mistakes are part of learning. If you don't make mistakes, it means you aren't trying hard enough. So, keep practicing, even when you are nervous. Another cool tip is to watch movies or TV shows in English. At first, it may be difficult to understand everything, but over time, you will start to pick up more words and even understand how people really speak. A good strategy is to watch with subtitles at the beginning. This will help you see and hear the words at the same time, which makes it much easier. And soon, you'll realize that you won't even need subtitles anymore. Plus, finding a study partner can make all the difference. This person will help you practice, and you can share new words and expressions. With someone by your side, learning can be faster and more fun. If possible, try to speak to native English speakers. They can help you with pronunciation, teach you new phrases, and even give tips on how to speak more naturally. One of the best things you can do is immerse yourself in English. This means surrounding yourself with English at all times. You can listen to English while cooking, cleaning, or even walking. The more you listen, the easier it will be to understand. And remember, learning English is not a race. Each person has their own rhythm. Some learn quickly, others take a little longer, and that's okay. The most important thing is to keep practicing every day. When I started learning English, I didn't understand everything at once. I didn't know all the words, but I didn't stop. I continued listening, speaking, and practicing. Over time, I began to understand more and speak more clearly. One piece of advice I can give you is to set small goals. You don't need to learn everything at once. Set a goal, such as learning 5 new words a day or practicing speaking for 5 minutes. These small goals will motivate you and show you that you are improving. Plus, track your progress. Write down the words you learned. Keep a list of new phrases. This will help you see how much you've progressed and will keep you motivated. And lastly, don't forget to have fun during the process. Learning English can be challenging, but it is also very rewarding. Learning English can and should be fun. Find ways to have fun while you learn. Watch cool shows, read books you like, or play games that teach English. When you have fun, learning becomes lighter and faster. Remember, learning English is a journey. It may take time, but each step brings you closer to your goal. So, practice every day. Listen, speak, read, and write. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. The more you practice, the more you will improve. You can do it. Today, I want to talk about something everyone faces when learning something new: fear. It's normal to feel scared or nervous, but that doesn't have to stop you. I remember when I started speaking English, I was afraid that people would laugh at me. I was worried about making mistakes or saying something wrong. But do you know what I discovered? Everyone makes mistakes. This is part of the process. The first step to overcoming fear is understanding that making mistakes is okay. Mistakes are not bad, they help us grow. The more mistakes you make, the more you learn. When I started, my voice was shaking and I was forgetting words, but I kept trying. I realized that the more I talked, the less afraid I was. One way to combat fear is to remember that you are learning, not trying to be perfect. When you focus on learning, you stop worrying about perfection. It's okay not to know everything or to make mistakes. Another way to overcome fear is to practice every day. The more you practice, the more confident you become. It's like learning to ride a bike. It's difficult at first, but with practice, you'll get much better. Start by practicing in front of a mirror. Speak in English while looking at each other. This helps you get used to speaking and become more comfortable. If you can, practice with friends or family. But if you don't have anyone, don't worry. Talk to yourself out loud while doing a task, such as cooking or cleaning. Pretend you are talking to someone. This will help you get used to speaking English and feel more natural. It's also great to set small goals. When you achieve a goal, you feel proud and more confident. For example, set a goal to learn 5 new words a day, or try to speak English for 10 minutes without stopping. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. The important thing is to try, and if you make a mistake, that's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. When I started, I thought everyone would laugh at my accent, but I soon learned that people are kind. They don't laugh at you, they want to help you. If you don't know a word, ask. People love to help people who are learning. Another way to feel more confident is to listen to English every day. When you hear English, you get used to the sound of words and the way people speak. The more you listen, the easier it becomes to understand and feel comfortable. Plus, by listening, you learn new words and phrases. This will help you speak more naturally, like native speakers. So, try to listen to English every day, even for a few minutes. Don't forget to smile. Smiling helps to increase confidence. When you smile, you feel happier and less nervous. And, by smiling while you speak, you will make others feel more at ease too. It also helps you remember why you are learning English. If you think about your reason, whether it's to travel, make new friends, or find a better job, it will give you strength when fear strikes. An amazing way to gain confidence is by reading out loud. When you read, your brain gets used to the words and the way they sound. This helps improve your pronunciation and increases your confidence in the language. Reading aloud is a great way to practice English, as in addition to improving your reading, you also train your speaking. Start with easy books, like children's books, or even short articles on the internet. As you improve, try reading more challenging texts. Each time you read, your confidence will increase. Another interesting practice is keeping a diary. Write about your day or your thoughts in English. Don't worry if it's not perfect. The important thing is to practice. The more you write, the more your vocabulary will grow, and this directly helps your speaking ability. And don't be afraid to ask when you don't understand something. If you have a question, ask someone. People are generally happy to help, and asking questions is one of the quickest ways to learn. Another way to feel more confident is to practice with other people who are also learning English. Find a partner or study group to support you. You can talk about anything, even the weather or your favorite dishes. And remember, learning English takes time. It's okay if you don't know everything now. The important thing is daily practice. And over time, you will notice how much more confident you have become. There are days when you may feel discouraged, perhaps thinking that you are not improving fast enough. But don't give up. Even when it seems difficult, keep practicing. You are moving forward, even if you don't realize it. Think of learning English like building a wall. At first, it may feel like you're going slowly, but with each practice, you're laying a brick. Over time, the wall grows and becomes stronger. One day, you will look back and see how much you have already built. I myself had moments of doubt. I wondered if I was really getting better, but I realized that every small step was helping me. Every time I spoke, my confidence grew. So, don't let fear stop you. Keep practicing every day. Speak, even if you are afraid. Every mistake makes you better. Believe in yourself. You can do it. Now, let's talk about how to expand your vocabulary. Learning new words is essential to speaking and understanding English more easily. When I started learning English, I didn't know many words, but I didn't give up. Every day I learned new words, little by little. The first step is to learn the most common words, the ones that people use all the time, like hello, goodbye, please, and thank you. Start with these simple words. Then, learn words that relate to your everyday life. For example, learn the words for things you use around the house, such as table, chair, food, and bathroom. When you know the words for the things around you, it becomes easier to talk about them. Reading is also a great way to learn new words. When you read books, websites, or even social media posts in English, you will come across several new words. Don't be afraid of not understanding a word. Look in the dictionary or on the internet. You can also use apps or websites that teach you new words. Some apps show you a new word every day, and you can practice it and even test yourself to see how much you remember. Try to learn 5 new words a day. It may not seem like much, but at the end of the month, you will have learned 150 new words, which is a great way to expand your vocabulary. When you learn a new word, try to use it. This helps to commit the word to memory. For example, after you learn the word happy, try using it in a sentence, such as, I am happy today. You can also practice writing the words. Keep a notebook or an app to write down all the new words you learn. Revisit these words every day. It will help you remember them. And another way to fix the words is by listening to English. The more you listen, the more the words stick in your memory. One of the best ways to learn new words in English is by paying attention to the music, movies, or podcasts you listen to. Try to notice new words and repeat them. This will help you remember them better. Sometimes you will forget a word, and that's okay. This happens to everyone. If you forget, just look up the word again and practice using it. Another tip is to learn words by categories. For example, learn words related to food, colors, or animals. When you group words together, they become easier to remember. A good way to learn is to practice words in context. Instead of just learning the word dog, learn the phrase, I have a dog. This will help you better understand how to use the word in real situations. And speaking of using words, the more you talk, the more you will use what you learn. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. The important thing is to practice. Find a language partner or group to practice with you. If you don't have anyone, no problem. Practice alone. Talking to yourself, reading aloud, or even asking yourself questions are great ways to train. Furthermore, use the new words in your daily life. If you learn the word computer, try saying, I am using my computer. The more you use the words, the easier it will be to remember them. Don't forget the pronunciation too. When you know how to pronounce the word correctly, it will be easier to use it in conversations. You can use apps or websites that teach pronunciation, or even listen to native English speakers. Another way to learn words is by watching TV shows or movies in English. Pay attention to how people speak and the words they use. Try repeating the phrases you hear. This will help you better understand how words are used in real conversations. Remember that building vocabulary is a process that requires patience. You won't learn all the words at once, but little by little, your vocabulary will grow. Celebrate every new word you learn. As you learn more words, you will be able to express yourself better and feel more confident speaking and writing in English. Over time, you will realize that you already know a lot of words. A cool tip is to use flashcards. Write the word on one side and the meaning on the other. Test yourself every day. This is a fun and easy way to memorize new words. Another technique is to learn synonyms, words that mean the same thing. For example, happy and joyful mean the same thing. Learning synonyms gives you more options for speaking or writing in English. Sometimes you may feel like learning words is slow, but don't worry. Keep practicing. Each new word brings you closer to your goal. And remember, you can always review old words to keep them fresh in your memory. One day, you will realize how much your vocabulary has grown, and you will feel very proud of everything you have learned. Keep practicing every day, and your vocabulary will increase every day. Building your vocabulary is a fun and essential part of learning English. Every new word you learn is a step forward. Keep the pace, keep learning and developing, and you will realize how much you are improving. The important thing is not to stop. Listening is one of the most important skills when learning English. The better you listen, the better you can understand and speak. At first, listening to English may seem difficult, and you may not understand everything, but don't worry, this is completely normal. Every time you hear it, it's getting better. When I started learning English, I had a lot of difficulty understanding what people were saying. They spoke so fast, but I didn't give up. I listened every day, and little by little, I got better. The first step to improving your listening is to listen to things you like. This makes learning more fun and keeps you motivated. If you like music, listen to songs in English. If you prefer films, watch them in English. Start with easier materials, like children's shows or podcasts made for English learners. These materials tend to be slower and use simple words. As you improve, you can move on to more difficult content, like news or movies. When you're listening, don't worry about understanding everything. Focus on the main idea. You don't need to catch every word. Understanding the context is enough. Another valuable tip is to use subtitles. When watching films or series, activate English subtitles. This will help you see and hear the words at the same time, which makes understanding easier. After watching, try to repeat what you heard. This will help you remember new words and phrases. Audiobooks are also great for learning vocabulary and improving your pronunciation. Start with beginner books, and as you progress, move on to more advanced books. Try to listen to English every day, even if it's just for 10 or 15 minutes. The more you listen, the more you become accustomed to the sounds and patterns of the language. It's also important to listen to different accents. English is spoken in many countries, and each place has its own way of speaking. Practicing with different accents helps you understand more people. Sometimes hearing the same thing over and over can be helpful. If you don't understand something, listen again. The more you listen, the more you will understand. Another way to practice is to repeat what you hear. For example, if you hear a phrase in English, try repeating it out loud. This will improve your pronunciation and make you more confident. Using apps or websites to train your listening can also be a great idea. Many of these tools offer exercises with short audio snippets and questions to test how much you understand. This makes learning fun and helps you measure your progress. Don't just focus on words, but also on how people speak. English is not just about knowing words. It's about knowing how to use them. Pay attention to the tone of voice and the emphasis on certain words. This helps to better capture the meaning. You may feel like you're not improving as quickly as you'd like, but remember, every time you listen, you're learning. It's a process that takes time, but with practice, your listening skills will improve. Another important tip is to listen actively. This means really paying attention to what you are listening to, without getting distracted by other things. When you listen with focus, you understand better and remember more of what you heard. A great practice is to listen to something and then write down what you understand. This improves both your listening and writing. You can write down words, phrases, or ideas that you heard, and then check if they are correct. When I was learning, I used to listen to the same song over and over and try to write the lyrics. This helped me remember new words and understand the song better. Finally, vary the types of media you use to practice. Don't just stick to TV series. Listen to podcasts, radio, and even YouTube videos. The more variety, the better your learning will be. The most important thing is to keep listening and practicing every day. Little by little, you will realize how much you are evolving. Hearing different ways of speaking English is essential to improving your understanding. Watching conversations in movies or TV shows is a great way to learn, as people speak more naturally than they do in class. They use slang, idiomatic expressions, and speak at different speeds. This helps you sound more natural when you speak. But remember to relax while listening. Don't worry about understanding everything at first. Just enjoy the learning process. The more relaxed you are, the easier it will be to focus on sounds and words. With practice, you will gradually improve. Over time, you will be able to understand longer and more complicated conversations. One tip is to listen with a purpose. Before you start, decide what you want to learn. It could be new vocabulary or understanding the main idea of what you are hearing. This helps you stay focused. Pay attention to language patterns, such as sentence structure and common expressions. This will help you use them when speaking or writing. As you improve, you will find that listening becomes easier. You will understand faster and feel more comfortable with the language. The secret is to listen a little every day. Don't give up. Listening is difficult at first, but it gets easier over time. Keep practicing, and you will soon understand English naturally. Remember, learning English is a journey. Every step, however small, is progress. Don't stop practicing, and you'll soon be able to enjoy all the English you hear. Speaking with confidence. Speaking English can be scary at first, but the more you practice, the more confident you will become. When I started learning English, I was afraid to speak it. I worried about making mistakes and worried that people would laugh at me. But I learned that making mistakes is part of the process. The first step to speaking with confidence is to stop worrying about mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, even those who are already fluent. The important thing is to keep trying. When you try, you learn and improve. One way to feel more confident is to practice every day, even for a few minutes. Talk to yourself, ask yourself questions, and answer them. It may feel awkward at first, but it helps you feel more comfortable speaking. Another great way to practice is to find a language partner, someone who also wants to learn English. You can practice together, help each other, and improve. If you can't find someone, look for English practice groups online. Many people around the world are on the same path as you and want to practice. Talking about things you like makes learning more fun. If you like movies, talk about your favorite movies in English. If you like sports, talk about your favorite teams. This makes conversation easier and helps you remember new words. And don't be afraid to ask for help. If you don't know how to say something, ask. Most people will be happy to help. You can also practice speaking out loud as you read. Pick up a book, article, or even a website in English and read it out loud. This improves your pronunciation and gets you used to speaking. Sometimes speaking may seem difficult because you don't know many words, but don't let that stop you. You don't need difficult words to communicate. Simple words are enough to speak well. The important thing is to keep practicing. The more you talk, the more confident and natural you will feel. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every mistake is a chance to learn and improve. Little by little, you will realize how much you have evolved. Keep trying. You can do it. Speaking clearly is essential. If you can say what you want, people will understand you. An important tip is to speak slowly. When you speak too quickly, it's easier to make mistakes or get nervous. Speaking slowly gives you time to think about your words and pronounce them more clearly. Additionally, speaking at a calm pace makes you sound more confident. At first, I was nervous about speaking, but I learned that it's okay to pause. If you need a moment to think, just stop, take a deep breath, and continue. It's normal to need time to find the right words. Listening carefully when other people speak is also very helpful. You learn new words, how to use them, and even better understand the rhythm of the conversation. Combine listening and speaking in practice, as this improves both skills. If people don't understand what you say on the first try, don't give up. Try again. Speak more slowly and clearly. If necessary, ask them to repeat what they said. Most people will understand that you are learning and will be happy to help. A fun way to practice is to sing your favorite songs in English. Singing helps with pronunciation and gets you used to the rhythm of the language. Additionally, you can repeat phrases you heard in movies or TV shows. Try to say the sentences exactly the way you heard them. This improves your speaking ability and helps you sound more natural. Also use your body while speaking. Move your hands, make facial expressions, and use your body to communicate. This makes you more confident and helps the person you are talking to understand you better. And, above all, be patient with yourself. Speaking well takes time, and it's okay to not be perfect at first. The most important thing is to keep practicing. The more you talk, the easier it becomes. If you make mistakes, don't worry. Everyone makes mistakes, and mistakes are part of learning. Learn from them and try again. Another way to practice is using flashcards. Write a question on one side and the answer on the other, and practice saying them both out loud. You can also practice speaking in front of a mirror. This helps you feel more comfortable speaking and allows you to observe how your mouth moves when forming words. An interesting idea is to do simulations, like imagining that you are in a restaurant ordering food in English. Practice the phrases out loud. These simulations help you prepare for real situations. Remember, the more you talk, the more confident you become. If you practice every day, you will improve more and more. Don't be afraid to speak up, even if you make mistakes. Speaking is a fundamental part of learning, and each attempt brings you closer to your goal. Reading as a learning tool. Reading in English is a fun and efficient way to improve your language skills. Reading helps you learn new words, understand sentence structure, and improve your grammar. When I started learning English, reading was one of the biggest challenges. The words were new, and the sentences seemed long and complicated, but I didn't give up. I started with simple books, and little by little I improved. The best way to start reading in English is by choosing easy books. Look for books made for beginners or children. These books use simple words and short sentences, which is ideal for learners. At first, try reading just for fun, without worrying about understanding every word. Choose a story that you like, even if you don't know all the words. The important thing is to have fun while learning. Reading in English can be an incredible and transformative experience, especially if you focus on what really matters. The main idea: you don't have to worry about understanding all the words right away. Just keep reading and try to understand the story or the main topic. There are many websites and applications that offer simple and interesting articles to beginners. Reading an article a day is a light and effective way to learn new words without being overwhelmed. If you find a word you don't know, don't be afraid to seek meaning. Use a dictionary or a translation application, and if possible, write down that word in a notebook. This helps to fix it in memory. Another tip is to read aloud. This not only improves your pronunciation, but it also helps your brain to remember what you read. Start by dedicating at least 10 minutes a day to reading. No need to start with large or complicated books. Short stories, articles, or even comics are excellent starting points. The important thing is to create the habit. When you feel more confident, try reading a little longer books, such as those aimed at teenagers or young adults. These books are a little more challenging, but still fun. If you don't understand everything, keep reading. Over time, your understanding will improve. While reading, pay attention to the sentences. Note where the subject, the verb, and the other elements of the sentence are. This will help you better understand English grammar. Another great idea is to read newspapers or magazines in English. These materials help expand your vocabulary, especially in various topics. Choose articles that arouse your interest. This makes reading more enjoyable. To enjoy even more, keep a reading diary. After finishing a book or article, write a few phrases about it. It may be something you liked, something you didn't understand, or new words you have learned. This will help you retain what you have read and also improve your writing. Repeating reading of the same material is also very useful. The second time you will understand more and improve faster. If you find a book or article you really like, read it several times. The more you read, the more words and expressions you absorb. Reading with a purpose is equally important. Before you start, define what you want to learn, new words. Understand the main idea. This makes your reading more targeted and effective. Also try varying the types of materials you read: stories, news, scientific articles, or even cookbooks. This diversity expands your vocabulary and makes you a more complete reader. An interesting technique is to combine reading and audio. Find an audiobook of the material that is reading and listen while following the text. This helps you hear the pronunciation of words and understand the meaning more completely. And remember, reading must be fun. Choose materials you like, as this makes reading look less work and one more pleasure. If you don't understand something, don't give up. Look for the meaning, ask someone, or come back and read again. Gradually, your understanding will grow. One way to facilitate is to divide the reading into smaller parts. Instead of trying to read an entire book at once, read a chapter or a page a day. This makes the process lighter and less intimidating. Reading in English not only improves your reading ability, but it also teaches you how people speak and write. You will learn how to use words, phrases, and expressions more naturally, and if you can, read aloud with a friend. Review reading a paragraph or page. This improves both your speech and your understanding, and still makes learning more fun and interactive. Reading in English is an amazing journey that helps you gain confidence, understand more, and make reading easier and easier. Over time, you can challenge yourself with more difficult books, but never forget to choose materials you really like. Reading slowly is completely normal, especially at first. Learning English takes time, and it is essential to be patient with yourself. The important thing is to read every day. The more you read, the more your skills get better, and it makes you an increasingly strong communicator. Keep reading, you are doing very well. Writing in English. Building confidence. Writing in English is a powerful way to improve your skills. In addition to helping you organize your thoughts, it is also a great way to practice new words. When I started learning English, writing was a big challenge. I had difficulty creating long phrases and using the right grammar, but with practice, I was improving. Today, writing is something that gives me confidence in my English. If you are starting, keep things simple. Don't worry about writing perfect phrases right away. Start with short and clear phrases. You can improve over time. Write about things you know, such as your day, family, or favorite food. Talking about something you like makes the process easier and more fun. A great way to start is to keep a diary. Every day, write a few phrases about what happened. It doesn't matter if the sentences are short or not so perfect. The goal is to practice. Write about what you did, how you felt, or anything interesting that happened. At first, use simple words. Do not worry about sophisticated words. The most important thing is to be clear and express your ideas. You can also write letters or emails to friends in English. Even if you make mistakes, they will understand and, most importantly, you will be practicing. Another tip is to transform writing into a habit. Write a little every day. It can be about anything. Describe your favorite movie, a place you would like to visit, or even an idea that went through your head. As you feel more confident, try to write more than one sentence. Practice writing full paragraphs. For example, if you are writing about your day, try to include 3 or 4 sentences. This helps you better organize your ideas. If you don't know how to write a word, use a translation, dictionary, or application, but try not to depend on them all the time. The more you write, the more naturally the words will arise. After writing something, read again. This helps you find errors and correct. If you are not sure about something, ask someone for help. Learning from errors is one of the most effective ways to improve. Another idea is to write small stories. Imagine a fun adventure or describe a special day of your life. This helps you use more words and create longer phrases. If you are without ideas, use writing prompts. A prompt is a sentence or question that helps you start. For example, what is your favorite place and why? These suggestions may inspire you when you don't know what to write. One tip that helped me a lot was to read aloud what I wrote. This allowed me to realize if my phrases sounded well. If something didn't sound right, I would adjust. Reading aloud helps identify the flow of text and make improvements. Don't be afraid to make mistakes while writing. Everyone makes mistakes, and this is part of the learning process. The important thing is to keep writing, because constant practice is what brings progress. You can also write small paragraphs about something you read or heard in English. This helps you practice understanding and writing at the same time. After reading a short story or article, write some phrases about what you understand. As you write, try to use new words you have learned. Over time, you will see that your English is improving, and writing will become something natural and pleasant. If you have learned a new word, like beautiful, try to use it when writing. This not only helps to fix the word, but also to understand how to use it correctly in sentences. If you feel it is locked, take a break. Sometimes walking away for a few minutes can bring new ideas. And remember, you don't have to finish everything at once. It is normal to divide the work into steps. Another way to improve your writing is to observe how other people write. Read books, articles, or even social media posts in English. Note how sentences are built and how words are used. This can give you ideas to apply in your own writing. You can also ask someone to read what you wrote and give feedback. Don't be afraid of criticism. They are learning opportunities. When you feel more confident, try writing longer texts, like newsrooms. Choose a theme you like and start with short texts, increasing the size as you feel comfortable. This will help you better organize your ideas and write more detailedly. Don't worry if it's not perfect at first. Constant practice is what will make you improve. Setting small goals is a great way to progress. For example, today you can write a paragraph about your family, and tomorrow about your favorite hobby. These goals help maintain motivation and show your progress. Writing also improves your speech because it makes you think about how to use the language correctly. Writing and speech are always connected. Be patient with yourself. Learning to write in a new language takes time, and you don't have to be perfect immediately. Celebrate each progress, however small. Try to keep a writing routine, even if it's just a few phrases a day. The more you write, the easier you become. Think of writing as a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it gets. Don't give up. Keep writing, and you will see how much you are evolving. Speaking English with confidence. Speaking English may seem difficult at first, but know that you are not alone. Everyone starts from somewhere, and the most important thing is to remember that practice leads to improvement. When I started speaking English, I also felt nervous. My heart accelerated, and I was afraid of making mistakes. But I learned that talking is the best way to improve. The more I practiced, the more confident I felt. A tip to gain confidence is to speak slowly. When you speak slowly, you have more time to think about the words and form it clearly. Don't worry about talking fast. The most important thing is to be understood. Take your time, and don't mind if it's not perfect. Start talking alone. Practice simple phrases about what you did on the day or describe objects around you. This helps to feel more comfortable with the act of speaking. If you can, find someone to practice. Talking to someone else is one of the best ways to improve. Practice simple questions and answers, such as how are you, or what did you do today? What did you do today? There is no one to practice. No problem. Talk to your cell phone. There are apps that help with pronunciation and allow you to train your speech. Another idea is to record your voice and hear later. This helps you identify what you need to improve. Also try to practice in real situations. For example, when going to a restaurant, ask for food in English. If you are in a place where people speak English, ask directions, or interact simply. The more you use the language in everyday life, the more confident you will feel. Speaking English doesn't have to be perfect, and making mistakes is part of learning. Each attempt is one step ahead. Keep practicing, and you will see that over time, speaking English will become something natural. The important thing is to start and never give up. You can do it. Missing is part of learning, and this goes for any language, even to native speakers. If you say something wrong, don't worry, just keep going. The important thing is to practice, as this is how you learn and improve. Remember, you don't have to speak perfectly to communicate. People will understand you, even if your grammar is not 100%. What matters is that you are trying, and this is how progress happens. An excellent way to practice is by repeating what you hear. For example, when hearing a conversation in English, try to repeat the sentences. This helps improve your pronunciation and learn new words. If you want to sound more natural, learn common phrases and expressions. Instead of saying, I don't know, you can use, I'm not sure. Small changes like this make your speech look more natural. When talking, try to relax. If you get nervous, take a deep breath, smile, and remember that everything is fine. Making mistakes. Relaxing helps to speak with more clarity and confidence. An interesting trick is to use your hands while talking. Making gestures helps explain better what you are saying. For example, if you are talking about something large, use your hands to show the size. This makes the conversation more interesting and dynamic. Another tip is to watch TV shows or movies in English. Pay attention to how people talk and the gestures they use. Observe the tone of voice and body language. Try to imitate what you see. It will help you sound more natural when talking. Also, record your voice while practicing. Then listen and see if there are difficult words to pronounce or points to improve. Listening to yourself is a great way to identify where you can evolve. Talking to people online is also an excellent opportunity. There are sites where you can talk to people from all over the world. It is a relaxed and friendly way to practice English and receive feedback. If you feel that words are missing to express yourself, don't worry. You don't have to know everything. Use the words you know and try to describe what you mean. For example, if you don't know the word butterfly, say something like it's an insect with colorful wings. People will understand, and it helps you find creative ways to communicate. Listening is as important as talking. By listening to others, you learn how to use words and phrases and how people communicate in real situations. If you get nervous, remember why you are learning English. It is to communicate, meet new people, make friends, or travel to amazing places. Focusing on your goals will help you gain confidence. Finally, celebrate your achievements. Each time you talk, it's getting better. Do not focus on errors, but how much you have progressed. Be proud of each advance, however small. Talking with confidence comes with practice. Start by talking slowly and clearly. Practice with friends or even alone, and don't be afraid to make a mistake. Over time, you will be more confident and speak English will be much easier. Keep practicing and, before you realize, you will be speaking naturally and security. Listening to learn. Listening is a fundamental part of English learning. When you hear, learn new words, phrases, and even how to speak more naturally. It's a powerful way to improve your language skills. When I started learning English, I thought he heard very difficult. Everything seemed fast and complicated. But over time, I got better. Daily practice was essential. When I started learning English, hearing was one of the hardest parts. I didn't understand what people said. Everything seemed too fast. But over time, I realized that listening is one of the best ways to learn. The more you hear, the more you understand. The secret is to start with things you like. For example, if you like movies, watch in English with subtitles. At first it may be difficult to understand everything, but no problem. The more you hear, the more you will understand. Another fun way to practice is listening to music in English. Try to understand the lyrics. Do not worry if you do not capture all words. Focus on general meaning. You can also look for the lyrics online and follow while listening. Podcasts are another excellent tool. Choose a podcast about a theme that interests you and listen every day. Start with short episodes and, over time, go to the longest. Regular practice improves your understanding. When you hear something in English, don't worry about understanding everything at first. It is normal not to understand everything at first. Focus on the words you recognize. Even if you don't understand the whole sentence, this is already a progress. You can also hear news in English. News stations often speak clearly and slowly, which facilitates follow-up. Choose simple stories and, after listening, try summarizing what you understand with your own words. This helps to fix learning. Repeating what you hear is also very useful. After listening to a sentence, try to repeat it out loud. This helps to get used to your ears to the sounds of words and improves your pronunciation. Do not be afraid to pause or return the recording to listen again. Sometimes listening for the second time makes all the difference. If you are using an application or podcast, try reducing audio speed to better capture each word. Another interesting challenge is listening to different types of English. The accents vary widely between countries such as the United States, the United Kingdom, and Australia. Practicing with speakers from different regions helps you understand English in its various forms. Also, be aware of the sounds of words in the context of the sentences. For example, can sounds different in I can help you, and can you help me? These small details make a big difference. Watching TV programs or cartoon in English is also a great idea. They usually use simple language and speak clearly. Pay attention to how the characters talk to each other. This teaches useful and natural phrases that you can use on a daily basis. Another option is to watch real conversation videos. Note how people ask questions, give answers, and start dialogues. It's a great way to learn to speak naturally. If you want to go further, join online language exchange groups. These groups allow you to hear people speaking English and also practice with them. Talking to other English apprentices can make you more comfortable and less nervous. One tip that worked a lot for me was to listen while doing other tasks, such as cooking or cleaning. This made the practice more natural and less stressful. It's like learning without even realizing that you are studying. When listening to something in English, try to focus on the main idea. Don't worry about understanding every word. Focus on the general meaning of the sentence. Over time and practice, you will realize that your understanding is improving more and more. Understanding English is a process that requires constant patience and practice. In the beginning, it is normal not to capture all words or phrases. Do not be discouraged if something seems difficult to understand. Keep listening, and over time you will begin to recognize more words and expressions. The secret is to be patient and persistent. Even if it seems it is moving slowly, remember, you are getting better every day. Set aside a daily time to listen to English, even if it's only 15 minutes. This regular practice makes a big difference. Try to vary what you hear to maintain interesting learning. For example, one day you can listen to a song, the next one podcast, and then watch a TV show. This diversity makes the process more fun and effective. An excellent way to improve listening is by listening to audiolibros. With them, you can follow the story as you read the text. This helps to understand how words are pronounced and how sentences are formed. If you feel that you are not understanding everything, don't worry. The most important thing is to continue practicing. Listening is like exercising a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it gets. Listening is one of the most important parts of English learning. Don't worry if you don't understand everything early on. Progress comes with practice. Listen to songs, podcasts, TV shows, and even English conversations. The more you hear, the easier you get to understand and even speak the language. Keep daily practice, and you will see how your English will improve. Soon, you will be able to understand English easily. Continue, You are on the right track.